Hola, bienvenidos a otra sesión de Satchel Classes. Soy Mr. Castrillon and I would like to welcome you to another session with Satchel Classes today. We have a special edition. This is going to be a lesson about the simple past for verbs ending in ER. So we have all the videos on the website that you can check and you can learn how to conjugate ER verbs in present tense. And we also have videos about AR and IR verbs. Today's lesson, of course, is going to be mainly ER verbs. So, hoy vamos a aprender a conjugar verbos terminados en ER, en ER, conjugar verbos regulares en pasado simple y practicar con oraciones y frases comunes. So as you can see, we are going to practice and we're going to learn a lot about these ER verbs. But what is an ER verb? It is any verb ending in ER. So we have some examples that you're going to see today. And of course, we are going to use those examples to practice what we are going to learn today. And we can find two types of verbs, regular and irregular. We are going to be working today with regular verbs mainly because the rules that we're going to learn today will apply for all those verbs that are regular and that end in er. So, ¿cómo se dice en español? To drink, to eat, to learn, to run, to read, to sell, to understand. So we have all of these verbs in English. By the way, whenever you have to at the very beginning of the verb, we call this in Spanish, or we call this in kind of grammar, we call that infinitive. It means that the verb has not been used by any pronoun like I, we, or you. And that's why we put to at the very beginning of the verb. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to or 2 minutes to take your dictionary and translate these verbs into Spanish. ¿Cómo se dice en español? 2 minutes. Off you go. How did that go? Well, we have all these verbs, so let's have a look and see what the translation for those is in Spanish. So let's start with the first one. Beber. Feel free to repeat after me. Beber. Comer. Comer. Aprender. Aprender. Correr. Correr. Leer. Leer. Vender. Vender. Comprender. Comprender. Well, let's see how that went. What I'm going to show you now is the same verbs, all of them in Spanish, but with some missing letters. So what I would like you to do in the next minute is to try and fill in each one of those verbs with the right missing vowel. 1 minute, off you go. How did that go? Let's have a look and see how those verbs are spelled. Vender, leer, comer, beber, aprender, comprender, correr. Now then, what is it that we have to do in order to conjugate or make the sentence right in simple past? Let's take this example, comer, which is to eat. Now, as you can see, we have a white section, which we call that the root of the verb. And of course, with each root, we will have another word that is called pronoun. Yo, tú, él, ella, nosotros, vosotros, ellas, ellos. And this root is not going to change, it's going to stay the same. What's going to change, though, is the yellow section, the ER. And that's why they are called ER verbs, because that's the bit that changes. So let's have a look and see the first one. Yo comí. So as you can see, when I'm going to say anything about myself, as in like I ate, well, all you need to do is change the ER for I with that tilde at the top. That means that you need to extend the sound a little bit in that vowel or on that vowel. So for instance, you say in this case, yo comí. And the next one will be tú comiste. Él, ella comió. Nosotros comimos. Vosotros comisteis. Ellos, ellas comieron. So as you can see, the end of it is the one that changes. And do take note for this end of this ending, because this is the one we are going to use throughout the lesson. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to complete this or to write down this model verb. This is our example. 30 seconds for that. Okay. Now remember that these words, yo, tú, él, ella, nosotros, vosotros, ellas, ellos, are pronouns. We use them just to show who the person is when we are talking about other people. But the most important thing in Spanish is that we tend to leave them out. For instance, I could easily say comí instead of saying yo comí, or comiste, or comió, comimos, and so on. That is not, it's not a problem to leave out the pronoun. It's actually more natural, if you like. Now, we do have lots of verbs like these ones, like comer, comprender, beber, leer, aprender, correr, ver, emprender. All of these verbs here will use the same conjugation. So let's practice a little bit. I have these verbs here, and we're going to translate each one of these sentences. Now, if you only feel like you can do the basic level, feel free to do so. And all you need to do is conjugate the verb depending on the actual pronoun that you have in the blue section. If you don't have a pronoun, then feel free to make it up. Here you can choose myself, like I drank, or they drank, or we drank. So feel free to, I would say, improvise. If you want to go for the intermediate level, then you'll go for the blue and yellow. But feel free to go for the advanced one, and that'll give you more chances to practice and learn. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to choose a level and complete the exercise. Off you go. 3 minutes. Two more minutes left. One more minute left. Time is up. So let's have a look and see what the actual or the correct um, endings are for each one of those verbs here. Bebí, bebiste, bebió, bebimos, bebisteis, bebieron. Okay, what about the translation? Well, the first one is I drank a lot of water. The second one is why did you drink so slow? The third one is my sister drank orange juice. The fourth one, nosotros, we drank water to survive. Next one, where did you drink at the weekend? The next one, my friends drank near the hotel. How many did you get correct? Now let's keep practicing. Let's try and see which right or correct conjugation from the red box completes the sentences in the yellow box. So I have leímos, comprendiste, comieron, aprendí, comimos, leyó, comprendimos, corrieron, aprendisteis. Now, all of these are sentences, sorry, verbs in past, in simple past, and we need to use one of those for each sentence. Now, there are more options than, of course, correct answers, so be very careful there. And of course, I'm helping you a little bit in the yellow box, as you will see the verb that needs to be used in simple past. Now, if you happen to finish quite early, then feel free to write new sentences in Spanish with the remaining verbs. Or why not translate those sentences into English? I'm going to give you 2 minutes for you to try and complete the 5 sentences with the right verb. 2 minutes, off you go. time is up. How did that go? I want to kind of enhance, or not enhance, but highlight something here. I want you to have a look at leímos, leyó. As you can see, I'm using a Y here instead of the usual I. That only happens because I have this E and that O uh, here in the word. So we want to avoid having three vowels, E, I, O. So instead of doing that, we just put Y in the middle. There's a very common rule in Spanish when you have like three vowels, all of them at the same time, like E, I, O, then that I turns into a Y to make it look better. Now let's have a look at the answers. There we go. En el colegio yo aprendí muchas cosas. Mi maestro de español leyó en voz alta. Nosotros comimos tapas en el restaurante. ¿Comprendiste? Mis hermanas corrieron toda la mañana. Well, that was good. Now, we do have some irregularities. The first one is querer. Very important verb to remember. To want. And the thing is, the whole verb, or nearly the whole verb, is going to change, not just the ER. And this is the way it changes. Yo quise, tú quisiste, él quiso o ella quiso, nosotros quisimos, vosotros quisisteis, ellos quisieron. That is you saying, I want it, you want it, and so on. So this is a very important verb to remember because you will see or you will come across with this verb at some point during your exam. Another one that is irregular is hacer, to do. Very important because we do use this verb a lot, particularly with the weather. And we will have a lesson on that very soon. So we have hacer. And look at this. The whole verb, nearly the whole verb is going to change. And have a look at how it changes. Yo hice, tú hiciste, él hizo, nosotros hicimos, vosotros hicisteis, ellos hicieron. So keep an eye on this one because you will come across with this one as well. Another one that will change is tener. Once again, it's going to change almost the whole thing. Have a look. Yo tuve, tú tuviste, él tuvo, nosotros tuvimos, vosotros tuvisteis, ellos tuvieron. Finally, we have ser, to be. And this is going to change completely. Yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue, nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, ellos fueron. However, as a rare treat, if you want to say I went, you use exactly the same conjugation. So if you want to say I went to this place, you could easily say yo fui. It's exactly the same word. And it's the same for tú, él, nosotros, and so on. So if you want to say we went, you would go for nosotros fuimos. Or they went. Ellos fueron. Well, muy bien. So remember to keep revising. And today you have learned how to conjugate regular verbs ending ER in simple past. And also keep translating and making your own sentences in Spanish. If you feel that you actually didn't manage to get some time to complete everything that we did today, feel free to come back and watch the video again. That way you're going to revise a lot more. In the meantime, I want to wish you a very good time and enjoy your learning. Hasta muy pronto. Gracias.